Hello again, guys. This is just getting silly. This is my third attempt at recording a second video for my channel, like this evening, because I discovered that my phone has a 30-minute time limit for videos. So I'll try to make this, keep this brief and try and make it more concise and coherent than my last video. Although, I seem to be struggling with that tonight, so I might have to scrap this as well and just try it tomorrow. Because, fucking hell, it's just been so annoying. So hello again, my fellow TI and narcissistic and psychopath abuse warriors. And yesterday was International Women's Day, so I kind of feel like it would have been more appropriate to make this video then. But happy belated International Women's Day. I know there are male TIs. Sorry, just everything a bit of a mess. But yeah, I would say misogyny is probably a big problem when it comes to targeting and abuse in general. And yeah, I know that men victimize other men, but that's part of the patriarchy as well. So let's all smash the patriarchy. So yeah, I just been very busy, hence I'm only just making this video now. I've been away and doing various things, so in some ways I'm feeling quite lucky right now and grateful about, not anyone in particular, just grateful that I have some of the stuff and people in my life that I do. Not to be braggy and rub it in people's face, that's not my intention, but through my own sheer will and determination, I am aware that I have managed to salvage I have quite a lot more in my life to be thankful for than I know a lot of TIs out there have. Having said that though, I'm not gonna lie, things have still been extremely hard. And so that might, that's partly why I might not seem entirely at my best in this video. Because I'm just tired and exhausted, in every sense of the word. World weary, I guess you could say. I've just kind of reached the point several times recently where I've just had enough. And there'll be quite a few more vulnerable things in this video than there were in the last one. But in order to help other TIs and be as encouraging and supportive as I can, I think being real is the only way to go about this. And to be honest and real with you, I am not doing well. And I think a lot of you who are TIs will be able to relate. I am lucky in that I have managed to salvage a really decent support network, and there are people in my life who I can trust and who care about me and who I know are connected with reality and want me to be as well. It's a bubble of reality around me when everything else is so crazy and chaotic and just messed up. But between that, between the things I've been doing and the people I've been seeing, I was on a trip, I think I've mentioned that, but more specifically, I was on a trip, to, a different place in the country I'm in. Anyway, but it's between all that, that I really struggle with the targeting. situation. So yeah, as I said on my previous video, I will continue to kind of log my symptoms and experiences, and try and offer like words of advice and encouragement where I can. But also, like, I am just kind of reaching a point right now where I'm feeling like I'm kind of just getting tired of fighting. Like, everybody has their limits, right? I'm not a person who would, like, content note suicide. Like, I am not a person who goes around, like, encouraging people to take their own lives. It's entirely a personal, individual decision. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really feeling like being around much longer. But I have things in my life to be grateful for too. Anyway, before I go off on another tangent, yeah, like I said in my last video, I want to follow it up with more stuff that, like, I guess, like, describes, like, in a bit more detail how I think I came to be in this situation and people's motivations or possible motivations and how I've experienced targeting and how it's affected me. Because last video was just a more kind of generic introductory thing. And also links from the hang on. OHCHR, or United Nations Human Rights Office of the High Commissioner website. So there's some stuff about targeting on there, like just some like data and statistics collected from people who report thinking that they're experiencing targeting. That should help clarify things as well. Because, I think citations can help with things like this. But yeah, I'm not doing great. It probably shows. I'm just tired. Like every day, every time I go somewhere, like just out in public, like from point A to point B, or even like sometimes when I'm in my own house, just all the time when I'm awake, it's kind of hell. And it's like walking through hell whenever I'm out places. I don't want to just focus on like the dark stuff though, that's getting me down, like the people who are responsible for all of this, and they know who they are and what they've done. But I also want part of this video I'm trying to keep as concise as possible to also contain messages of love and appreciation for the people who matter to me. And like they know who they are as well, and everybody who knows me and those people, like they know me well enough to know this already, but I like to make it clear that I don't blame them for anything. It's entirely the targeters and the people who started the targeting who are to blame. And if there was a hell, that's where those fuckers would be going. So yeah, before this video gets too long, I will just go a little bit more into like stuff I touched on in my previous video, but just like in a bit more detail. This one, I've got 20 minutes, so I'm let's do this. So like I've said, I'm not a person who goes around encouraging people to like give up, throw in the towel, commit suicide. It's very much their own choice. So I will just say, if you do want to continue fighting, there are definitely things that have made me like feel like in the grand scheme of things like a bit better that you might find helpful too. It's not guaranteed, but so this is one thing. I am finally on the waiting list to see a medication prescriber. So while obviously targeting is not like, it's not generated from within, it's not like, it doesn't start with your brain going funky, it's like external, like quote unquote attacks, isn't it? Like, I don't think that medication will be like by any means like a magical cure all, but I will say I'm hoping it will at least help me cope, I guess, a little bit better, like help my responses to, I guess, all the fucked up shit going on, or that I think is going on. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to, like, if there's any difference, like, as I continue doing this log, like, this series, like, once I've gone on medication, like, if there's any difference, like, in how I'm coping and how I feel. There might not be at all, there might be some, like, we'll have to see. But if it does wreak havoc on your mental health like it has on mine, don't feel the need to struggle alone. Get as much like help as you can, like medication, possibly therapy, although I know that's a complicated issue for TIs, right? Like, you have to be aware of the possibility everywhere of like being manipulated, but I would definitely say it's probably worth a try, therapy. And again, it is so hard because you never know who to trust. But try to salvage some kind of support network. Like, that's what I've done, and it has made such a difference. Like, even a short year ago, my life was totally unrecognizable to how it is now, and I was in some ways struggling so much worse, but ever since I've started like fighting, like salvage a lot of the things that I lost, like socially, it's gotten better. Needless to say, things are still like so incredibly hard that, as I've said, like I sometimes think I'm not really sure how much longer I want to do this, especially seeing as once you're a TI, you know, you are for life. That's the general consensus. But if you want to keep fighting, those are some things that I would suggest maybe you try. And maybe volunteering, if you have been knocked out of the employment. If you've been knocked out of the workforce or employment, volunteering might be a good place to start, if you want to do paid work again, because that is something that being a TI has utterly wrecked, for me, and I think is like probably the case with most TIs. So yeah, and it might help you just like get out of your head and get out of your bubble and feel like you're like a contributing member of society in some way again, you know? So yeah, those are all the things that, and try and keep up with your hobbies as well. And even though like that's kind of like part of my problem, like everything is just so painful all the time. It's like, even just doing that, I know how hard it is, but like try your best. I'm like, as I know it is really hard, but I think there are ways that things can feel like, I guess, a bit more bearable, for you. Like, I don't know what your situations all are, but like if any of that like speaks to you or is relevant to you, then great. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Because the last few weeks, like, I'll let you know kind of like what's been going on and why I've been having such a horrible time with things. And like, it's all part of, like, stuff that's been going on, like, ever since this shit kicked off and the targeting began, because it's all general, like, quite well-known, like, parts of targeting, right? So I think a lot of people will get it and be able to resonate and be like, oh, yeah, that's happened to me. Or, like, maybe not in exactly the same way, but it's happened to me. And if you read the stuff in the description that I'm posting, yeah, just a lot of the stuff in there has happened to me. It's all just part of the targeting phenomenon. I will say, as I said in my previous video, I don't believe in freaking directed energy weapons and V2K, like, voice to skull technology. I'm like, really? Like, what? I don't think it's a thing. It certainly isn't being used on me, and I'm not sure it's used on anyone. But like I said in my last video, like, they don't need to. Like, all they need is access to all your technology. Like, technology you've had in the past, and you're fucked. Like, you are screwed. It all starts with, like, what's called non-touch spyware, where perpetrators, like, in order to gain access to your technology, people don't even need access to you or your technology anymore. Things like Pegasus was exposed by Edward Snowden, who's stuck in Moscow. He's in exile there, right? And there's other forms of non-touch spyware. I don't know what they're called, but there's definitely other ones apart from Pegasus. And yeah, it can be done, and it is, and unfortunately that's how targeting is perpetrated, and, like, the rest is history. And then people, like, use that to create, like, very skewed profiles of you and destroy your reputation from there with, like, lies and smear campaigns and, like, rumors and stuff. But try, like, don't, it's easier said than done, like, because that stuff has just wreaked havoc with my mental health. But try not to listen. Like, don't take it to heart, even though that's what's been getting me so down, right? Like, you just feel like it's you against the world, and, like, I've just been feeling like I'm just being crushed under the weight of the relentless, like, crap that's all around me all the time. But yeah, like, the clothes things, the stuff about cars being pushed out of employment, people trying to, like, control, like, your sex and dating life and stuff like that. Like, I'm sure, like, most TIs resonate with it, or resonates with most TIs. And that's the kind of stuff that's just been perpetually, like, constantly happening to me. Not just the last 3.5 or more years, but the last few weeks. So like, stuff that's been, like, standing out to me, and I think what's been making my life so difficult is I do think that some of what I've been hearing, like, in my environment has been, like, the famous noise attacks, like, from targeting. Like, people running around acting crazy and, like, saying weird shit, or, like, cars being really loud, like, other vehicles, maybe even planes. But, like, you're never totally sure, like, what's just in your head and what's part of the targeting, right? I mean, that's, like, the whole point. But it is interesting how, and I know mass psychosis and shared delusions are a thing, right? Like, and that's what people say targeting is, but it is interesting how so many people are reporting, like, almost, like, identical experiences, just, like, varying degrees, like, specific to them. Like, it's just been relentless. Like, I just feel like people have been trying to, like, deliberately, like, because, again, like, since my technology is compromised and I think my house is bugged, and, like, I kind of sometimes wonder if, like, other places I've been are, like, you all know, I mentioned it in my last video, like, I dissociate, and because of, like, how distressing everything is all the time, but then obviously because I have no privacy anymore, they can hear me doing that, and so like they'll attack. So like attacks have happened in recent weeks, like based on like dissociation or like things being misconstrued or something. And like people have been like just trying to like impose their narratives on me, put words in my mouth. Like again, like their behavior will, I often like think, be responses to like dissociative episodes, I guess, that they've overheard like by my technology, or what have you. It could even be like people like spying on me, like when I'm out and about, like in public, like in the streets or something. I guess just everywhere. Gaslighting me, very covert, strange, manipulative ways. I mean, wait, that it's a form of manipulation. I'm so tired. Like this, this has not gone well so far. This you'll have to bear with me. But like just covertly manipulating me, whether it's like through their behavior, or what they're wearing, etc., like in all sorts of weird ways, like trying to gaslight me into like believing all sorts of like crazy shit and like control what I care about or like what I don't care about, etc., like telling absolute like just distorting reality like so much, and it's been driving me absolutely stark raving mad, and there's just no respite from it, like even sleep, like I said last video. So, oh, and because like I've said, like about like smear campaigns and like rumors and stuff, and this is kind of tied into motivation, which is what I was about to get onto just now. But I think people have also like exploited like disabled people, like to get at me, like manipulate me somehow, as part of the targeting. And again, I've read in testimonies that's also very common. People often like I think you're ableist and like racist and stuff like that with targeting, so they will. So yeah, like lots of different groups will get involved. I live near some gypsies, like Romani gypsies, and based on like stuff that's happened in my past, I think they've gotten involved. Like I said, I live in kind of a dodgy area. Like in general, like overall, there's lots of dodgy stuff that goes on in the place I live. But I mean, I think these people, they think I hate like the poors, I like to call them, even though like I'm like a pretty socialist leftist person, but whatever. They think I'm racist, ableist, what have you. I think they just, part of it is I think they're just projecting their evilness like onto me, and like they think that I'm just as much of like an evil psychopathic predator as them. Well, it's like I'm not at all, but like they think that I am. Anyway, so yeah, I've kind of gotten into the motivation, like I've kind of been discussing like everything that's been happening. Oh yeah, and like people like have been using like kids to like try and manipulate me and stuff. Like yeah, just because people have been like trying to pressure me to do or not do like so many things the last few years, like including like trying to control my reproductive choices and stuff. It's kind of redundant now for like issues I won't get into here, but let's just say like it's irrelevant. I've come to discover like whether I want children or not. But like yeah, people have tried to control like whether I do or not have them, and just like it's crazy. Every part of my life they've tried to control and just freaking wreak havoc on and destroy. Like I said, like with employment and stuff, and my social life and dating life. So the motivations, like this is why I'm not involved in any targeting communities anymore, because you do just come across a lot of people who are like, I've never come across anybody who I think could be responsible. I've never come across any like particularly dangerous psychopathic individuals. I think I've been targeted since birth, or like part of the program since birth, as they say. And I'm just like, I think you're just unwell and you need to get like help for what is clearly just a case of like schizophrenia. But I have crossed paths with quite dangerous individuals. And yeah, so I think depending on like who gets involved, there's like different motivations, and you can only guess, and there's probably several, but it could be, I mean, I've already talked about a lot of it is like trying to make me do shit and stuff like that, and like control how I think and how I feel. But like, it's not just that. I think a lot of it is like, I mean, there might just be sadistic fucks who just want power and control over a woman. Like, it's a dominance thing. It's like power and control for their own sake. It could also be like I say, they think that like I'm this like dangerous psychopathic predator myself. It could be like I'm pretty sure it's a punitive thing as well. And also because they think that I cannot run my own life, that I need to be like steered, and I can't make like sensible, rational decisions on my own. So yeah, but I think a lot of it's just down to really bad luck, like having crossed paths with them in the first place. Like, the initial perpetrators who kicked it all off, I never knew particularly well, if at all. So it's just, some people just have really bad luck. And yeah, so just based on like me having being quite adept at like connecting the dots and like identifying like patterns and like details and stuff, I can only make educated guesses at things that I've picked up on that have accumulated over time that I think are part of my targeting experience. But it'll be slightly different with everyone. But it's also like they just want control of everything. Also, it could be like a hysteria kind of thing. Like I kind of said a bit about this in my last video as well. Like, or like hiding behind the guise of quote unquote trying to help me, or like protect me or whatever. And also, I think, when it comes to things like disabled people, etc., even though I'm fucking disabled, they might also be, and again, I don't like to try to speak for other people because I've had that done to me so much, but they might be so deluded that even though I've made it, I don't know how I could be any more clear about this. If either of them ever came near me, I'd get restraining orders and call the police. Like, they're not above the law. I think maybe they are deluded that they think I would ever want them near me, but that's just a guess. So yeah, that's all the kind of like symptoms I get and like why I think the things that happen to me happen. And the video is about to run out of time again. I might make another one. I might wrap this one up and then film another one and then upload them both, because like there's not a lot more I want to say, but it's gonna take more than like half a minute. So yeah, I've gone a bit into that stuff, and let's wrap it up there, and I'll see you in the next video, which shouldn't be very long at all, a few minutes. Okay, bye, see you in a bit.